Nature has a way of reclaiming what doesn't belong. But on August 20th, 1966, on the slopes of Morro do Ventum in Brazil, nature itself seemed to be recoiling in horror. An 18-year-old local, Jorge da Costa Alves, was chasing a kite when he stumbled into a clearing. He pushed through a thicket of overgrown ferns and stopped dead. The air here didn't smell like rain or earth. It smelled of ozone and copper. And something sickly sweet, the cloying scent of a body that had begun to liquefy in the tropical heat. There, lying side by side on a bed of leaves, were two men. They were dressed in immaculate dark suits and raincoats, despite the humidity. They looked almost peaceful, as if they had simply laid down for a nap. There were no signs of a struggle, no wounds, no blood. But where their eyes should have been, there was only dull, hand-beaten lead. They were wearing bizarre, crude masks cut from a sheet of metal, covering only their eyes. When the police arrived, they didn't just find a crime scene, they found a crime against logic. This is the true story of the lead masks case, a case where science met the occult and something from the darkness answered. Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel José Viana were men of wires and waves. In the 1960s, being a radio technician was like being a magician. You could pull voices out of thin air. You understood the invisible forces that govern the world. But Manuel and Miguel were bored with fixing television sets. They had become obsessed with a fringe movement known as scientific spiritism. They believed the afterlife wasn't a place, but a frequency. And if you had the right antenna, the right equipment, you could tune into the dead. Their friends and family knew they dabbled in the strange, building odd contraptions in their backyard workshops. Neighbors later reported seeing strange blue lights emanating from Manuel's property. They spoke of a massive explosion that occurred months before the incident, an experiment that went terribly wrong, or perhaps terrifyingly right. The blast was so powerful it shook the neighborhood, but the two men just brushed it off, claiming a piece of equipment had overloaded. On August 17th, 3 days before their bodies were found, they told their families they were going to São Paulo to buy materials for their work and possibly a car. They left with a suitcase containing a significant amount of cash, the equivalent of over $1,000 today, and a secret they couldn't share. They weren't going to a shop, they were going to a meeting. The last person to see them alive was a waitress at a small bar in the nearby city of Niterói. Her testimony is chilling. She described two men who weren't on a casual business trip, but who seemed to be marching toward their own execution. Miguel, in particular, was visibly agitated. He was shaking, constantly glancing at his watch. He wasn't just waiting for a bus. It was as if he was